Tonight on UI7 News, after 2 years, the Mueller report is here. But only the Justice Department has seen the actual report. More on President Trump and Congress's reaction coming up.
Next, robots zipped across Westview Elementary yesterday. Students got a unique hands-on opportunity to learn about coding and robotics.
Finally, Illini softball finished their homestand with a couple of walk-off wins. And it's opening day across Major League Baseball. We'll have your full sports and weather.
UI7 News starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, UI7 News, your U of I news source.
Welcome to UI7 News. I'm Kira Kirsch.
And I'm Tim Griffin. Thank you for joining us and happy Thursday.
We'll lead off today's newscast with the latest on the Mueller report and President Trump's remarks on it.
While Democrats are contesting Trump's interpretation and demanding to see the Mueller report, they are pushing back against Trump's platforms on healthcare and immigration. CNN's Jim Acosta reports.
Soaking in the findings from special counsel Robert Mueller's report, President Trump marched up to Capitol Hill to declare victory. But he didn't stick to the facts.
The Mueller report was great. It could not have been better. It said no obstruction, no collusion. It could not have been better.
But that's not true. While Attorney General William Barr's summary of the Mueller report did state that the special counsel found the Trump campaign did not conspire or coordinate with the Russian government, the question of obstruction was left to the Justice Department. And it was Barr and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein who decided not to prosecute. Democrats aren't taking the president's word for it and demanding to see the full report.
We don't need an interpretation by Attorney General who is appointed for a particular job to make sure the president is above the law. We need to see the report.
The president also accused unspecified forces of conspiring against him.
We cannot let it ever happen again. It went very high up and it started fairly low, but with instructions from the high up. This should never happen to a president again. We can't allow that to take place.
Mr. Trump has accused the Obama White House of wiretapping him without evidence, and he's blamed the late Senator John McCain for the release of a dossier detailing the president's alleged misdeeds. But one of the president's top allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, now says he urged McCain to give the dossier to the FBI.
John got the dossier. He called me up and said, "What do you think? Think I should turn it over to the FBI?" I said, "Yeah, that was it."
How did the president respond to that?
No, never mind.
One area where there is some agreement, impeachment appears to be off the table.
I don't think they're talking about impeachment.
Impeachment's not on the table until it is on the table.
But new battle lines are being drawn, specifically over Obamacare, after the Justice Department sided with the federal judge's ruling striking down the Affordable Care Act, saying in a statement that the district court's comprehensive opinion came to the correct conclusion. The president jumped into damage control mode.
Let me just tell you exactly what my message is. The Republican Party will soon be known as the party of healthcare. You watch.
In the run-up to the midterms, the president vowed to take care of people with pre-existing conditions, one of Obamacare's key protections.
I will always fight for and always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. You have to do it.
After running on protecting Obamacare during the midterms, Democrats are more than ready to resurrect the issue for the 2020 campaign.
Trump position ties a 2-year anchor around the neck of every Republican for the next 2 years.
Michael Avenatti, the lawyer known for representing porn actress Stormy Daniels in her case against Donald Trump, is facing charges for embezzlement and extortion. If convicted, Avenatti could spend the rest of his life in prison. Avenatti was accused of embezzling money from clients as well as trying to extort millions of dollars from Nike. Avenatti has attacked Nike following his arrest, claiming the company has been paying college athletes for support. Regarding embezzlement, Avenatti maintains that all of his clients' funds were handled in good faith. Still, his primary client, Stormy Daniels, has dropped Avenatti as her lawyer, saying she's not surprised by the allegations. Avenatti also faces wire fraud and bank fraud charges as well.
In a shocking turn of events, Jussie Smollett's criminal charges for staging a hate crime in Chicago were dropped yesterday. CNN's Natasha Chen has the latest on the ins and outs of this complex case.
This is a whitewash of justice.
Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel erupted after Illinois prosecutors dropped all charges against Jussie Smollett and sealed the record in the case that has twisted and turned public opinion since January.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I have been accused of.
If you want to say you're innocent of a situation, then you take your day in court.
Chicago police still believe Smollett paid two brothers $3,500 to stage an attack against him on January 29th.
The Ondero brothers said more than once that the $3,500 check they received was for exactly what Jussie said. It was for nutrition and training. They were his trainers.
In February, prosecutors said Smollett directed the entire thing, telling the brothers exactly what to say and do, including using a racial slur and making a reference to Make America Great Again. The Illinois state's attorney said he stands by the investigation, but decided to drop charges based on the fact that Smollett did community service and forfeited his bail.
Our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jussie Smollett is neither one of those.
Smollett said he would like nothing more than to move on.
But make no mistakes, I will always continue to fight for the justice, equality, and betterment of marginalized people everywhere.
I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
And this case continues to be a hot topic, even bringing President Trump into the picture. President Trump said today that the FBI and Justice Department should review, quote, the outrageous decision to drop the charges. And this breaking news, Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is asking Smollett to pay $130,000 to cover the investigation costs and urges the actor to be accountable for his actions. We will keep you updated as the story progresses. Despite voting on 8 alternative Brexit plans, British lawmakers were unable to decide about the country's future relationship with the EU. Now British Prime Minister Theresa May is offering to resign if her proposal is passed. May, who came into office in 2016 with the promise of passing a Brexit agreement, has been unable to find enough support for any form of legislation regarding the issue. Now, with members of both the Conservative and Labour Party calling for May to step down, she has offered her position as Prime Minister as a bargaining chip to force action. If Parliament is unable to reach a decision, the United Kingdom will exit the European Union on April 12th with no plan of action.
Moving from the United Kingdom to the Venezuelan crisis, millions of citizens in the South American country have been dealing with ongoing power blackouts. This was reported to have started 2 weeks ago, and at least 20 people have died during the power outage. The first wave of blackouts left most of the country in the dark for 5 days. Just when it seemed like it was over, a second power blackout started yesterday in the afternoon. The power went out in the city of Caracas and nearly a dozen states. President Nicolas Maduro blamed the United States for these blackouts and said that the hydroelectric plants of the country had been attacked. Others say the lights are out because of Maduro's mismanagement of the economy. For the moment, schools and businesses remain closed.
Over in D.C., Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has faced serious backlash after a proposed budget cut. DeVos proposed a $17.6 million budget cut to the Special Olympics as part of the new Education Department budget for next year. This sparked a back and forth between DeVos and Wisconsin Representative Mark Pocan, and the first of many criticisms on cutting Special Olympics funding.
Do you know how many kids are going to be affected by that cut, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Pocan, let me just say again, we had to make some difficult decisions with this budget.
Again, this is a question on how many kids, not about the budget.
I don't know the number of kids.
It's 272,000 kids. That's all. I'll answer it for you. That's okay. No problem.
With Pocan, Bernie Sanders, and Mitt Romney being just a few other names who oppose the cuts, President Trump announced today he is backing off of the cuts and will fund the Special Olympics.
We've got a lot of local news coming up as we take a look into Westview Elementary's robotics event.
And U of I students are adjusting to the MCOR construction covering the quad. We'll be right back.
I feel not alone in this world, and you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Oh, Dapper Leon. I almost feel like every Friday I have a date. He'll have a vest or a jacket.
She sees me at my best.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. Let's jump right into it with some local news.
University of Illinois students were in for a surprise coming back from spring break this week. They discovered that part of the quad near Armory and Wright Street is under construction for part 1 of phase 4 of the MCOR project. Some students say the construction sounds and barriers are affecting their commute and their focus in the classroom.
I have class over in Henry Administration Building, so actually today there was a giant amount of thumping and buzzing like mid-lecture, so yeah, no, the summer would have been kind of nice.
It's been pretty difficult just because it's been kind of disruptive for people to get into class, wherever. I think it's ill-timed, and I don't know, I think they could have found a better time to do it.
This stage of the construction is expected to last for 3 months. The MCOR project as a whole is supposed to cost $46.9 million. And just in today, the groundbreaking for U of I's $75 million classroom facility is set for April 12th.
There's another obstacle that's been limiting some people's education for many years: the lack of books for those who are behind bars. UI7's Ariel Majeski reports on how local volunteers are stepping up to donate books for prisoners in Illinois.
Each month, about 180 letters are sent to an Urbana organization called Books to Prisoners. Inmates list a variety of genres they're interested in, so volunteers can find the best selection of books to ship over per prisoner, as long as they fulfill the 3-pound maximum limit.
They read for the same reasons any of us read. You know, it makes us human. We receive the world through what we read about. And I can't imagine why we would want to restrict access to that.
And access is heavily restricted. As of 2017, less than $300 were spent on books in prison libraries. Rasmussen says they are the largest supplier of books since they donate to 29 state prisons and 2 county jails. But even with the organization's diverse collection, a new volunteer says there are limits.
Sometimes you can't really find any kinds of books that you think they might like, so you really have to kind of be creative in that regard. One thing volunteers keep in mind is that those incarcerated don't have access to the internet, even to look up the simplest things. So what's the most popular book request out of all 29 state prisons in Illinois? It's none other than the dictionary.
At our spot.
As more organizations, churches, and university students get involved, the feedback is strong.
A lot of times they'll specifically thank people, too, who have given them books, because we sign off at the end of our letter. So that's really special, too, to see that they're so grateful for the service that we do to them.
You send me such good books that I really enjoy reading.
The next chapter of contributions is the organization's semi-annual book sale, scheduled for this Saturday, March 30th. The sales funds will be used for shipping costs to deliver the books. Volunteers are excited for more helpers to come. In Urbana, I'm Ariel Majeski, UI7 News.
A consolidated general election for positions like Champaign Mayor, City Council, and other local government positions across Champaign County is coming up on April 2nd. Thanks to new Champaign County Clerk Aaron Ammons, early voting for those spots will be easier during this last week leading up to Election Day. Ammons opened up 8 new locations for early voting this week, including one on the first floor of the Illini Union. In previous elections, the ballots were on the 4th floor of the Union, but Ammons says that he made sure to move it to make voting early more accessible to students.
I was talking to the university administration and to the union is to make sure that we could develop an understanding and an agreement to have voting on the first floor at the union in the Pine Lounge room for this election, and it'll be on the first floor in the union for years to come.
In addition to the union, 3 locations have opened up in Champaign-Urbana, and one in each Mahomet, Tolono, St. Joseph, and Rantoul. And the clerk's office is still open for early voting too. Anyone registered to vote in Champaign County can use any of the locations to vote early.
The mayor of Urbana is working with the city council in order to put new regulations on video game gambling in establishments where you may not expect them. After a few grocery stores began applying for G1 liquor licenses, which allows an establishment to have certain video gambling machines, the mayor of Urbana, Diane Marlin, saw that there was nothing in Urbana's liquor code that covers this scenario. So she decided to call a special counsel in order to update the city's liquor code.
It's a fine line to walk between contributing to gambling addictions, for example, and taking money out of people's pockets that they could be spending on other things, even though they're choosing to do that. But you know, sometimes people are choosing to spend money on video gaming versus perhaps buying food.
There will be a city council vote on April 1st to decide whether or not to suspend G1 liquor licenses in order for the city to review its current liquor code. Switching to Champaign, robots roamed the halls of Westview Elementary School yesterday, and our Demi Ramirez was there as students got a unique and fun opportunity to learn about coding.
There's no Rubik's Cube anymore!
What looks like a black box was transformed into a Rubik's Cube at last night's robotics and coding event. Robots followed paths that were programmed and colored by students. Principal of Westview Elementary School, Nick Swords, says events like this brings the community closer together.
When you have families come in like that and you have the kids who are having a great time and then the staff members, and as I said, myself as a principal, it's just an amazing event to see so many of our families coming in and spending time together here at school and just having an amazing event like this.
Students explored interactive games such as playing piano by using Play-Doh, bowling with a robot-like ball, and even races between robots. Central High School student Ni Wen was accepted into MIT to study computer science. She shares what her true passion is.
Helping at these events, it made me realize that with computer science, because initially people just do computer science for industry, it made me realize that I really wanted to use computer science to help kids.
Buckets were being made as Swords explains why getting involved in STEM at an early age can take them far.
As we just introduced, Ni has a great opportunity and it's going to lead her to MIT, and so if that's something they're interested in, you know, it just opens that door for kids and gives them another option.
In Champaign,
what? You're going backwards.
I'm Demisha Ramirez, UI7 News.
Coming up, Gary Walker has your full weekend weather forecast.
And as we head to break, we continue to celebrate Women's History Month with another woman you should know about. U of I's first female chancellor, Nancy Cannon. We'll be right back.
Drop that baby.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I sent him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?"
The next few weeks, she just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back. We've got a story which will get you on your feet, but first, we have a full forecast.
We've got our own Gary Walker outside, and I think he's getting ready to bring out his umbrella. Gary?
Hi, Tim and Kira, and all the UI7 viewers at home. Let's take a look at conditions facing this area tonight. Tonight, you better grab that umbrella. We'll have an 80% chance of rain tonight with a high of 49 degrees with winds coming in from the south to southwest. Now let's take a look at the regional high temperatures around the area today. Every place had high well into the 60s. Some highlights include Rantoul, where it was 62, Danville, where it was 60. Now let's take a look at the rest of the Midwest region. The rest of the Midwest region definitely had spring-like temperatures today too. Some highlights include Indianapolis, which was at 58 degrees, and Chicago, which is at 59 degrees. Now let's take a look at the rest of the country now. It looks like most places in the country had nice temperatures. Hopefully we can eventually get that weather that Phoenix is having today with a high of 85 degrees, and I also love the weather in Dallas at 75 degrees. Now let's head back home and take a look at the 5-day forecast. Overall, it looks like spring temperatures are coming to an end over the weekend, and part of the weekend is going to have rain too. But for tomorrow, we still have those spring-like temperatures with a high of 58 and a low of 43 with rain. Saturday rain is continuing with colder temperatures with a high of 47 and a low of 27. Sunday it will be sunny with a high of 44 and a low of 27 again. Monday it will be sunny with temperatures back in the 50s at the beginning of the week with highs being 50 and a low of 35. And Tuesday it will be nice and even warmer with a high of 58 and a low of 41. Let's enjoy this nice weather before temperatures change, and let's head back to the studio where Tim and Kira have more news to share.
Thanks, Gary. If you're looking to burn off some steam or even just learn something new, look no further than this local dance company hoping to make art and culture accessible to all. Leah President put on her dancing shoes and hit the floor to find out more.
The dance company is bringing a little something special to the community, a safe space for kids to express their creativity. These young students have spent the last few weeks having fun and learning new skills with dances inspired by their own thoughts and feelings. They're being listened to, something that isn't always so commonplace.
Young people don't get to have a lot of say over their lives. You know, when you go into school, you're told what to study, you're told what to do a lot, what to eat, what to wear. And so it's a space where they get to completely follow their own minds.
My favorite thing about class is dancing!
I'm there basically as an adult ally. So my goal with class is for people to build friendships with each other, to connect, build leadership skills, be able to follow each other's leadership, explore their creativity, and really embrace each other's creativity.
And they're also bringing culture to the community through programs like Israeli dance, and they've even got me moving too.
It's a great way to connect in an emotional way with other cultures. I feel there's something about music and movement that's really universal, and it's a good way to just connect with each other.
Not only are the students of the Urbana Dance Company learning, they're also having a great time along the way.
No, I've never tried Israeli dancing, but I'm coming back for more because it was so much fun.
For UI7 News, I'm Leah President.
Coming up, we have Stephen Cohn with sports. Stephen, what are we looking at this week?
Hey, exciting time in sports. We've covered all the way from the court to the diamond. The Sweet 16 gets going tonight with a pair of Big Ten teams in action, and Illinois softball also keeps on winning in exciting fashion. And then we'll take a look at how opening day is shaking out for the local clubs. All that and more coming up after the break.
Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
If you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Oh, sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
Welcome back to UI7 News. It's time for your UI7 Sports Update. 2 Big Ten teams are in action tonight as the Sweet 16 in the NCAA men's basketball tournament gets underway with 4 games. Michigan and Purdue will both vie for spots in the Elite Eight, with Purdue taking the court first in Louisville against Tennessee. The Boilermakers advanced their 3rd Sweet 16 in as many years with a second-round victory over defending national champion Villanova on Saturday. In the 26-point win, Purdue's junior guard Carson Edwards lit up the scoreboard for 42 points, the most by any player in the tournament since 2003. Edwards wasn't alone for the Big Ten champion Boilermakers, as sophomore center Matt Harms added 18 points and 9 rebounds. And let's take a look at tonight's full slate of games. Florida State and 1 seed Gonzaga will get things started just after 6 p.m. local time before Purdue has a chance to reach its first Elite Eight since 2000. Last year's runners-up Michigan will play Texas Tech after the Seminoles and Bulldogs square off before the nightcap between 12 seed Oregon and number 1 Virginia. The Sweet 16 will wrap up tomorrow with 4 more games. And as basketball season winds down, it's time for some pigskin. Illinois football opened its 4th year of spring ball under head coach Lovie Smith earlier this week. Illinois football's Twitter account shared some highlights from the start of the Illini's 15 spring practices, and the early results look to be pretty good. Illini fans will have a chance to take in action on Saturday, April 13th, and the first orange and blue spring game since 2015, and that game will kick off in Memorial Stadium at 2 p.m. And from the turf to the diamond, Illini softball may be well on its way to the NCAA tournament. Illinois softball took care of business in walk-off fashion in a midweek game versus Eastern Illinois at Eichelberger Field on Tuesday. Trailing 2-1, the Illini's bats finally got going in the 5th inning as they scored 5 runs on 3 doubles. 4 Illinois errors helped Eastern storm back in the 6th, but Illinois finished it off with a walk-off hit from senior Carly Thomas in the 8th inning for the 8-7 win. Illinois hits the road now for Lincoln as they continue Big Ten play against Nebraska starting tomorrow. And lastly, Major League Baseball season got underway last week in Japan when the Mariners took a pair of games from the Athletics, but today the season officially started with opening day. All 30 teams were scheduled to be in action today, and let's take a look at how the local clubs started the new campaign. The Cubs, they're doing well so far, 9-2 in the top of the 7th. Javier Baez with 2 home runs. The White Sox and Royals, they had a 2-hour rain delay, so they're finally going now 0-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Eloy Jimenez, the White Sox star prospect, struck out his first career at bat. But there was even a better finish today and involved the St. Louis Cardinals. They lost in heartbreaking fashion to the Milwaukee Brewers. We got a video of it. It's an amazing play by Lorenzo Cain. Let's check it out.
Power threat off the bench for Cardinals, and there's a fly ball hit back into deep right center field. Lorenzo Cain.
What a play. What a play. Lorenzo Cain, he didn't win a Gold Glove last year. He definitely should have. But yeah, the Brewers 1-0 now, starting off the new season. Well,
thanks, Steven. Little Yachty, a rapper known for his red braids, was just announced as the annual Spring Jam artist. Little Yachty will perform on the main quad at 2 p.m. on April 28th. The 20-year-old rap artist is commonly known for a feature on popular song I Spy with artist Kyle. Students can enter for free with their iCards the day of the event.
Thanks again for joining us this afternoon. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to stay up to date with the latest stories.
We'll be back next week with more. Enjoy opening day. See you next week. And for UI7 News, I'm Tim Griffin.
And I'm Kira Kirsch. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful weekend and stay dry.